Structs allow you to build, honestly, I think of it as kind of like a structured data type of form. I think that's why they shortened it to struct. Never found any documentation to prove that, but that's kind of my idea in my own head. But think of it almost like an array, but unlike an array that has everything, all the fields indexed and same, you can actually have different types of data in a struct. Matter of fact, that's exactly what they're used for, is being able to combine different types of data. So let's go ahead and get into this. So this here, what we're doing is we're creating the struct in the program. We have two fields here. We first have a name, that's going to be a string, and then we have age, and that's going to be an integer. From here, we need to create another function for, in this example, we're going to call this new person, just like in our example. Name is string, just like we have above, and we're going to use a pointer in this example, and person. And that pointer, we're going to say p equals person, which is name. So here's the field name string with the var name string. That's how this is set up. And then p age equals 42. Return, and now we need to call that pointer, since we created the pointer up here. So what we're doing in this function is we're creating the function new person. Here we're using a pointer to reference the memory location where we save it, to call the value in that memory location. And this is just kind of an efficiency type of thing. That's why it's good to use pointer. And I think that's why they're having us use it here in this example. The var p calls the person, which is the structure up here, as you could tell from our help, with the field name and the var name together. And then this here, what we're doing is a dot reference. So this p.age means, okay, the first section is going to be the name, but we want to call the age and make it 42. So that's where this comes in. So we're using this variable, and the .age pulls the integer field here in the struct, and we're assigning it 42. That's what this little function is doing. So now our first person is going to be Bob, because why not? We like Bob. All right, let's run our code and see what happens. Anything breaks. Hopefully I don't got any type. Bob is 20, and that makes sense. So what the code is doing is it's calling this person. We're assigning Bob for the name string and 20 as the integer for age. That's why we're getting Bob 20. So now let's create some more of these examples. Here we're going to do person and name, and we're going to call her Alice, like in the example. And her age, never ask a woman her age, but hey, that's what it is. She's 30. Nice young age. Let's go ahead and do another one here. We'll do person and name Fred. Now what's going to be interesting here, we're going to go ahead and save this and we'll run it. You'll notice Alice is assigned age 30, but Fred is assigned 0. And that's because we didn't assign him an age. Now, if we call any of these, like let's say, let's just do this, person. Let's go ahead and save that and run it. It's going to give us an error because we need to assign this person the name, or at least one of these fields, with the way that we have this program structured. That's why this failed. So it's not going to pull a default value because it's an empty struct, and Go is going to go, hey, wait a minute, the person type is not an expression. In other words, I can't print something if there's nothing in there to print. Now, also, it's not a variable. Now, let's do our next one. And this time we're going to call our pointer. So we're coming back up here to our pointer. Person. Name. This time we're going to pick on Anne, and Anne is the ripe young age of 40. Now let's run this. So this is the pulling the pointer. That's why we're getting that and. Then let's do the next one, which is PL. New person. We're going to call that function that we create up there, and we're going to call him John without the H. Now let's see what happens. Because now we're calling this new function. Remember, it's going to ask for the name, but the age is assigned up here. And yep, there it is. So this is calling a pointer. That's what that ampersand is for. And it gives us the name that we assigned and then the 42 default value that we built into the function. Next, we're going to create an S variable because why not? We like using bad variable names in these examples. Name Sean. Sean's age is 50. And we're going to print just Sean's name. So again, we're using the dot value here. Essentially what we're doing is we're pulling the name field out of this struct variable that we just created here. So we're ignoring the age. We run this, there we go. Now we're only getting Sean because we're only pulling the name value out of this struct. So it's nice when you're dealing with structs. Like you can have more than just 2 fields in a struct. You can have multiple fields. And if you want to call a certain field, you can call it by what category you assign it to. So unlike an array where you're calling the index value, you can have these structured fields. Think of almost like columns Excel file, only you just have one cell to work with underneath the column. In this example anyway, and you can call specific categories within that struct by using this dot reference here to pull it. So likewise, if we just wanted the age, we save that, run it, we're only getting Sean's age, which is 50. So let's go ahead, since we're doing these examples, let's go ahead and do name. Run it again, just make sure we don't have any errors, and yeah, we're good. All right, let's do a little more fun. This time we're going to be doing SP because hey, we love crappy variable names in these examples. We're doing and S, ampersand S. So what we're doing here again is we're calling the pointer value of this. And this is essentially to show that we can use the dot reference, the dot fields, as a way to pull info from a struct, even using pointers. So if we take this and then we go SP age, hit save and run it. Let's see if we got any syntax. Nope. So there we go. We've got his age, which is 50. So essentially, we're creating a new variable. We're assigning it to the pointer of S, which is essentially we're calling on the memory field where it's stored on your computer. And then we're printing this SP age. And just to be clear, this PL, I've done this in previous ones. In case you're coming in this lesson later, this PL, this is just a variable that I created for print line, just so I don't have to type in a full fmt.print line. This is just my way of doing it. Okay, now let's change that age. So let's call that dot reference of age, and we're going to give him the right new age of 51. And now, when we call the age, save this, run, he's now got 51 years under his belt. Pretty easy. We can create new structs within the main function too. You don't have to create them outside the main function if you want. So here's one way of creating a struct. So this example, we're going to be using dog as a variable. We're going to say that this is a struct, and then we're going to use our curly brackets. And here we're going to say name is string, and is good, is cool, and then his name, I like Rex. What do you want to name him? Let's name her dog better. I don't know why I just called it Wolf, but hey, his name is Wolfham. And then true. And we'll say PL dog. Wolf true. And you get the idea of structs. You get the idea of how this works. Just remember, structs are categories and values assigned to each other. You can call them on their dot reference, which is the variable dot and then the category that you want to pull. variable. So in this case, age, we want to pull the age field out of here. And then we can assign different types of data. So this is an integer. If it's a floating point, you can make an int.32 or 16 or 64 string. Down here, we used a Boolean value. And then you can change this structure at any time by updating it to be the fields that you want and assigning it into variables and then pulling those variables, whether you use a pointer to pull the variable or the actual variable name. You can assign it, change it however way you need as you're working with the data. So I hope you find this video on structs helpful. Our next video is going to be on methods.